Hey guys, this is Greg, Danny, and Joe from Ritual Gaming, and we are bringing you episode 15, Galactic Changes. So we're going to jump right in. We're trying to keep this episode a little tighter on time this time. We're going to start with our first topic, and that is Leia. We've had some great news about Leia. She's coming out of that chromium-only safe, and she is coming into arena shipments. Joe, what do you think about this?
First of all, toe to so, because a couple.
You didn't say Leia.
Oh no, I explicitly said that Leia's going to be the next one to come. Though I actually got it wrong. I said she would go into Cantina shipments. Anyway, second of all, awesome. Leia's great, and we've all been fighting against her, and now it's the free-to-play players' turn to have a little go with her.
Yeah, and now too. I mean, the free-to-play comp that can be made is, I mean, it's one of the best ones, right? Like you have access to RG, you have access to good old Saint Han, you've got access to Leia now, and you've got access to Rey, right? Throw in whatever other junk you want in there.
Top 5 arena teams,
Yeah,
and now you can do it, and you don't have to pay
and
a
you've
bunch
got
of money.
access to Rey and Dooku.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
However, how long would it take you to make that team with the methods that are available?
Yeah, if you hadn't started this in the past, the thing with Leia is I do feel like she really fits into a lot of teams. There is those the current meta teams, but I think as we're going to get into later in the episode, this is our Galactic Changes episode. They've given us Leia just in time for what we kind of believe might be time for a bit of a change. So
It starts with the new meta.
of a new, there's changes that come in. So it's going to be get Leia, but Leia. What was it? Raya?
Raya was
because it's the Raya teams that are out there right now. The Rey, Leia, hide behind 2 taunts, and then like Akbar lead or dodge lead, whatever. So we can all go and build that now, just in time for it to probably go away.
Yeah. Do you think, Danny, that Leia's going to see a nerf after, I don't know, a little while, after the free-to-play players have been given a little chance to mess around with her, a little taste of that power?
No, I don't. And the reason is because I don't think Leia's overpowering. Yes, she can be annoying. She's got crazy damage, and she stealths right away. She's fast. However, her health is not an issue. If you can deal with her ASAP, her health is not an issue. But for somebody like Rey, she's way more of an issue than Leia.
Yeah,
and I think she will get the nerf first before Leia would.
I fully agree with Danny on that. I just think Leia's a really good, balanced, attacking character with some cool abilities. I really like Leia. I don't, she wins matches, but I also beat her. I just feel like she's a great all-round character, and I don't think just because the meta might change that her usefulness is going to go away. That's not what I'm saying. I just feel like if you just go, great, now I can build that Akbar team.
The Akbar team is what I'm looking forward to.
You might not want to rush straight to it, though, because things might change around you, and you finally get that Akbar team up and running, and it's no longer viable, with a few of the characters that are coming up, with a lot of buff removal, and a lot of, which is, who knows? I'm just speculating. But I think Leia is always going to be a useful little lady to have 7 stars sitting in your box, because she really is quite easy to slot into a lot of team builds if you're just looking for a high DPS attacker, really.
Yeah, I think so too. And what I like about Leia too is that she can be ability blocked, right? So
yeah,
that's all right. Now, wait, if you ability block her,
she can't stealth.
She can't stealth. That's true.
Yeah.
Her whole thing where she keeps attacking, that's based on
that's
crits,
a unique.
right? That's her unique. Yeah. So that actually can't be ability blocked.
That can't be ability blocked.
Right.
Yeah. That's based on crits, right?
Yeah. But if you do ability block her as she's about to come out of stealth, then she can't go back in and things.
Or if you're running our droids team, you can ability block her before she goes into stealth. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Which has negated her power somewhat, but she's still powerful. I think she's just a great all-round character, and if you can synergize her with Rebels, all the better.
Yeah, I haven't seen her as much on my server, to be honest, recently. I've still seen so much Rey and RG and Han, but I just haven't seen her as much. Have you, Joe?
Yeah, I would say out of my top 10, maybe 7 run the Holy Trinity of Rey, Leia, and Royal Guard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, all right,
and
so
a lot of them,
my backwater server is just... I'm just lucky, man. I'm so lucky with that server.
And the only other real combinations I really see are either an Akbar lead with Han, or a Ben lead with maybe Qui-Gon. But those three remain an ever-present. The Rey Leia RG, just like holy trinity of top 10 arena play right now.
When you run the Akbar lead with, and you're running droids against it, Joe, with JE, do you go before Han? You do, right?
It depends. If Han triggers a bonus attack, no.
Oh, I see.
If he doesn't, so Akbar goes before you. This is why I've devised. I mean, we're going to get too deep into like droid tactics now, but basically, throw another droid in your team, and you definitely go faster than them.
Oh, right, of course.
But you have to sacrifice your utility slot there, which is usually your tank or something.
Your RG, yeah.
But you are not guaranteed with JE to go before Han always. It might also be because my JE is not fully geared. Maybe at full gear, you overtake it. But.
Could be, yeah. I just got mine to gear 10 today. And
Oh, nice.
Danny just finished yours 7 stars.
Just 7 started today.
Which isn't a big deal and nobody cares about.
He's very frustrated.
I'm like 10, I'm 9 off. Ugh.
Yeah, but I guess the only reason this is relevant is because that Akbar team is the other speed team that's really threatening right now. We're not trying to just turn this into a droid chat.
Yeah.
Like Leia is part of that Akbar team, and that Akbar team wins because it is fast as all heck. And once Han gets off, you're just stuffed. And
well, it makes up for Han's only weakness, basically.
Yeah, exactly. His speed. So Leia.
His only really strong weakness.
I'm farming her. Are you farming her? I'm farming her.
I'm already saving up arena shipments.
I will be farming her.
I'm just getting my last 10 for Akbar, and then it's all Leia all the way.
I have a 7-star level 1 Akbar right now.
Nice.
I have a 6-star level 8 or something.
Yeah, the classic no money. All right, let's go on to the next topic. So, Galactic War is getting an update. Man, when I saw this, I was very, very excited. So, for people that haven't seen it, you've been living under a rock, I'll just summarize quickly what they posted on the community update. They said that the first step is making it not take nearly as long, and the development team has a solution for this. Starting next week, an update will be rolled out that makes some adjustments to Galactic War's difficulty, which should in turn lower the amount of time it takes for players to complete. They'll continue to monitor it and see how players interact with Galactic War, tuning changes as needed. Now, sorry, before we get into this, I just want to go back to Leia and say one of the really positive notes that I took from that also was they told us a good amount of time that before Leia went into shipments, giving people a chance, like
To
if you're
save
not,
up and yeah.
exactly. I was really stoked about that. That was great because I think in last episode we were talking a lot about clarity.
No warning.
So, all right, this changed to Galactic War. As soon as I saw this, when they were talking about adjusting the difficulty of it, it made me worry a little bit because I'm not so sure if obviously people complain about the difficulty. But if you do change the difficulty and you leave Galactic War kind of intact the way it is right now, how do you make it where people that are level 80 don't just have a big enough roster to destroy it every time?
Well, so actually recently I've started playing another phone game. You guys haven't heard the end of it, but I've been playing a little bit of this other phone game called Marvel Future Fight. And I've been really interested by their Galactic War equivalent, which is where all of the stages are open to you. You can go straight to the end first.
Oh, that's cool.
But the team that you take into that battle can only do that battle, and after that battle you can't pick those characters anymore.
Oh. Well,
so what you do is you kind of do it backwards. You try to do the hardest one you possibly can do first, and then you work your way back.
But the difference is between that phone game and this one is those characters are much easier to farm.
Yes.
And a lot quicker to get up full gear.
Yeah, but I mean some similar kind of system where you can pick the stage you want to do maybe, and just do them in that order. And so it's
it's more like skill. Like, okay, I know that I'm going to lose this character here, but that doesn't matter because I don't need them for these ones.
Instead of not letting you take the characters in, you make it so hard that the chances are you're losing a couple of characters. It's like an arena battle every time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you're having to be so what I wind up doing in this other game is taking in like one really powerful character and two complete duds. Because it's also teams of three. There's not a direct parallel, but I mean, it just a little bit of inspiration. Like, I don't think they'll be making the difficulty lower. I think they'll be making it harder, but quicker.
Okay, so I was talking to Greg earlier, and I do know a little bit about it.
Okay.
Because I was watching some
It's pure
other.
speculation, yeah.
I was watching another show, Lord Skunk's show, and he was he's been playing it for the last couple weeks, the new updated Galactic War version. And what he says, from what I gather, is it's kind of the opposite of what you're saying. It's and which is very disappointing. So for the first 6 nodes, it ramps up and it gets harder up until node 6, and then it's quite difficult. And then it refreshes, and the same thing happens again. It ramps up again until node 12. So it's really just Galactic War, but more boring. I don't know. It just seems a bit.
So it's like
bit of
too
an odd
many
thing.
Galactic Wars.
Too many Galactic Wars, and maybe I think they're just trying to appease the lower level players who constantly complain about it. Because I remember when I started, I constantly complained about it.
Yeah.
Now it's not an issue, but
Obviously, they're trying to address time issues too, because when the game did go from 70 to 80 and raids were introduced and Galactic War started to get a bit more difficult, there was definitely a large part of the community that was saying, this is a phone game to me, this is like my toilet game, I don't want to have to be spending so much time in it. Obviously, that's gone out the window, because if you're still trying to keep up with the meta, you definitely have to spend a good amount of time with it. But I think, for me, I was thinking just the issue with Galactic War is that it's such a repetitive task, and it takes so long. Like if it was
so long.
Yeah, exactly. It just I like the idea of approaching it in a different manner and changing it that way instead of changing the difficulty, because I feel like if you change the difficulty, you'll never be able to get it right completely, right? There just has to be a different way to approach it. Maybe changing it based on what level you are, and then once you get to level 80, then Galactic War changes in a way. And of course, it would be difficult to balance it because you don't want to make just a longer version of Arena where you're just playing multiple Arena games. And I like the idea of the long battle with Galactic War where you're trying to make sure all your characters stay healthy, but I mean, it has become a problem.
It's because the first 6 nodes are pretty easy to clear. And so I would rather have just the 6-node Galactic War that got hard real quick.
that's what I'm thinking. Just shorten the nodes. Like, don't have 12
every day, because I might get stuffed, But like, that's only going to further inspire me to get a bigger roster and get better, rather than just like appeasing everyone and making it easier.
Yeah, maybe make just those 6 battles a bit more difficult, so then you eke it out, and then when you do get there, you get the same rewards.
6 battles where you just fight people's arena teams.
Yeah, but then it's just Arena.
Then it's just Arena, yeah. But it's Arena where you lose your characters as you go.
And it might be interesting because then you could test out potential Arena teams you actually want to try without putting them into Arena and losing ranks, right?
That's true. That is interesting, yeah. That would be good for... I think too, and I know I've often come back to this during our videos, but I like the idea of them trying to make the game where you can make more content out of it. So if Galactic War was a bit more hard and a bit more like Arena, and people were trying out new comps, then yeah, that could be, you could make more content of that, especially if it's a bit shorter too, because then you could have just a quick video of this is what I had in Galactic War, this is what I was trying out, and this is what I was going for,
Yeah, like an arena run in Hearthstone or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
go ahead, Joe.
I think it's kind of redundant talking about it because it's done. It's done, signed and sealed, and a large chunk of the high level of the community already know what it is. So like, this Wish Upon a Star is fully redundant.
Well, it's not really Wish Upon. We're just talking about what's...
Yeah. I know, but I feel like silly even considering it because anything I'm entertaining in my mind is not happening.
Doesn't even matter.
And especially since it took so long for them to change, they're not going to be like, oh, well, these 3 men said that.
Yeah, but even just knowing that it's done makes me not even want to think about it.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's just see how it is and just give it a go. And hopefully it's good.
All right, well, let's go to our next topic then. So we just wanted to brush over this one quickly because it was quite a controversy in the community where it was the guild hopping issue that Team Instinct definitely got, pointed the thumb at there, but I'm sure other people were doing it. And who cares if they were doing it? I don't know. It's not as big of a deal as it seems to be, but
Yeah, as you were saying, time crunch, like a big time sink, that would be a time sink. Like having so many multiple accounts and like making sure I would never do that. So good for them for doing it.
Yeah, everyone got such a tizzy about it. I don't really get the whole fuss.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be on top of the leaderboard, that doesn't matter. Like, and you want to spend a bazillion hours doing it, be my guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not getting anything extra for it.
You're not getting anything extra from it than a little, like, EP measuring.
So they hotfixed it. It was a very easy hotfix, right? I think we were talking about it even last episode, how it could be done. And they know a lot more than us, so they did it very quickly. And one thing I just was thinking about as I was writing out this topic was, okay, now that they're going to basically make it so all guilds can only make the same amount of money, and there's no way to eke out that little bit of extra so you can be on top of the leaderboard. When the leaderboard resets, how will it be a leaderboard at all? Like, who will care? Because everyone can do tier 7 raids already. That is like around that top part of the leaderboard, and everyone can do it as off cooldown as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Well, I think one thing that we're not considering with the whole gaming the raids thing is what people are really angry about isn't necessarily that ranking, but actually the fact that these guilds were then generating gear at just double the rate of anyone else, which does give them a distinct advantage in arena and getting the new hand and all of that. But even then, I kind of agree with Danny. You want to put all that time into doing it. Take your gear. Be number one. I'm number one and I haven't done any of that nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. On arena, you mean?
Yeah, on arena. But I mean, where else is there to be number one?
Joe just refers to himself number one in real life. I'm number one all the time.
No, but
I'm
not every day, but like when you can be bothered to, you can do it without having to like game the system. You know, like. So if it really was giving people such a huge advantage, like maybe it would be more of a concern. But like, I think most moderate players can come first if they.
Yeah, it's a weird issue to deal with out of all of the issues
with the game.
Yeah.
But I want that leaderboard to mean something a little bit. And this is again why I think, and I've said this a couple times before, bring out some cosmetic stuff. That at least those guys get like a little extra circle around their character titles in arena ranking or something like that. Just anything. And even if it doesn't mean anything, then everyone can do it at the same rate, then at least that would be switching all the time, and you could look
like
at
like the gold card backs in Hearthstone or something. Like just
I think it should be something even more significant than that. I mean.
I know, but we're saying at the very least.
They get a sixth character in
at the
arena.
very least. No, they can like you can have tiers for the guilds if you're like in arena. You're number one, you get this. Number two, you get that. Number three, you get this, and then going down to and it could just be
guild coins.
Guild coins or a random box of shards. Just like here's 5 shards of a bunch of random characters. You know what I mean? Like you might just wind up with just like.
Probably be totally useless to the first.
Yeah, completely useless. But I mean, you get 100 of those, and it doesn't seem so useless anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now that we're talking about that, let's go into our next topic, which is the new event. Mm-hmm. And so, what is this event exactly called? Does anyone know?
What is it?
Play to give. Play to give.
Play to give event. Okay. So it's for a charity, which I'm unaware of. Is anyone aware of what charity it is?
No, I was actually on a few, I was on the Reddit today and stuff, and people were asking, what is this charity? And nobody had the answer.
Okay,
I'm assuming it has something to do with women's rights or something.
No. I did. No? I definitely saw what the Play to Give. It's like an EA thing. They do it across all of their games, and it gives all sorts of stuff. Like Play to Give is like an EA wide. It's like it's EA's charity.
Okay.
It's EA's like in-house charity. I don't know what they give to. We're probably supporting some kind of fundamentalist new religion. I don't know, but like worshipping at the altar of games. But
all right, what did you guys get when you did it first? Did we all get the same thing? Because I got 25 Jedi
Knight Guardian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone got that.
Everyone got that.
One of Ahsoka, Barriss, Rey, Leia.
Yep.
and an insignificant amount of money.
Yeah, 500 gold or something like that, right?
The first time I think it was like 20k, but whatever.
Okay, yeah.
It wasn't a lot.
Now, with this, I mean, this is great that the event is giving shards, and those are shards for relevant characters, right? And I think someone was complaining that they didn't see, oh man, I butchered Ahsoka's name so many times. I don't know, this one, Ayla? Ayla? I didn't want to say it. Anyways, that chick, the blue chick.
Yeah.
And people were saying that they didn't get her shards. So, I don't know. I guess that's one thing to look at. But, I mean, Danny, did you enjoy the event?
No, it was totally boring. It was... I saw the health bars of the first guys, and I just pressed auto, and it took about 2 seconds, and nothing happened. Barris basically just took out all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a low level giveaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind, but I mean, after the first giveaway, nothing to do. You know, like it stays around for 3 days. For what? For what purpose? To get one?
I got like 7 Leia shards.
Yeah. No, the shards are nothing to laugh at, and that's nice they're being given out. But
I got about 6 Rey shards and 3 or 4, about 6 or 7 Leia shards. I actually found that they
Maybe
really
you just got luckier than I. That's
maybe
why.
they just got lucky. I was about to say I feel like it was heavily in favor of Leia and Rey because I actually finished off my Rey to 7-star from this event, so I kind of feel like it's kind
I
of.
finished off my Ahsoka with this event, so that's I guess that's something.
Yeah, it's shards. Shards have an inherent value in this game. It's like every time you run, that Rey shard would have cost me 20 energy or 16 energy running a hard mode. So,
yeah.
It's probably all told about 2 full refreshes of energy.
Now I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here, but in my mind, when I played through the event, I thought, okay, I understand that this is for a charity, and so I know it's the amount of time played for each one, or the amount of times you play it each time. It's how much they're going to donate. But in my mind, this should be called a giveaway, or like a login bonus. That's almost what it is. And Danny and I were talking earlier, and we were just saying, can you click a button, you get the shards. And
that would have
an
been a good
event?
idea.
I don't know. It's for me. I was excited because I was thinking an event, a small challenge, a little puzzle to figure out or something like that. Like just a different way to play the game instead of here's some shards.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, it wasn't totally lost for everyone. I mean, you guys both have Yoda already, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't. So Yoda came out at the exact same time as the Play to Give. So it was on top, another event. Now the event's gone. But however, it's something still that's a challenge, something still to play in the events area.
Yeah, but I don't think even a new player would have struggled with that. I think how when you first start the game, I cast your mind back to the days of yore, but you get to like level 25 in like one sitting because it's with all these free-to-play games, it just spits energy at you for your first 50 and 20 levels. You play for like an hour solid without having to refresh, and then you hit the like, I'm out of energy wall, where you start reconsidering how you play. And I just don't feel like anyone who's playing this game, even if they started on the day the event began, would have any trouble beating this, which goes back to what you said. Make it just a thing that just showed up in your inbox.
Yeah.
Save me the 15 minutes it took me to do those 5 runs.
Yeah, I do like that they did use ally points, which was good to do the refreshes.
It seems like they're doing that more often now.
Yeah, which is great. Give us just a different way to use those because
Bronzium's garbage.
Yeah.
It's like a reverse garbage machine. It just spits garbage at you.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think that's just, again, an issue that I have with the other events where, I just want the events to be a bit more like, wow, this is fun. This is like a different take on how we're going to do things and, a little way. And even if they're not balanced at all, or even if somebody figures out the first day some cookie cutter thing that you can use to beat the event, no problem, at least you have like that little bit amount of time instead of just going in there and pushing auto. And obviously before people say anything, I know that this was an event aimed at lower level players, right? They advertised it as that. But
20 plus, yeah.
I remember when this came out, though, or they announced this, they kind of touched on something you guys were concerned about when we were filming last time.
Mm-hmm.
And you were saying that you wanted some more warning and stuff. So when this came out, they also said that the Empire event will be coming back, and we want to warn you guys ahead so you can start farming those characters you need for it, and we will tell you like a week or two in advance before the Empire event comes back.
Well, that's
stuff.
good.
So they are kind of like dealing with these as well, you know.
Yeah, and we're talking with Leia coming to arena shipments. That's definitely a fair warning. There's lots of time.
Yeah, no, that's good. We said transparency or consistency, so I guess transparency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the quickest one to accomplish first, right?
Yeah,
So,
true.
let's go on to the next topic, and it's the new Chromium Scoundrel, the shape shifter Zam
Careful with your
Wessle.
words there.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Inadvertent bleeping.
Shapeshifter Zam Wessle. So, the only information that we have so far about this, and this is direct from the community update, was this scoundrel attacker can inflict evasion down, utilize thermal detonators to decimate her enemies, with her unique shape-shifting ability granting her increased evasion. Great. This Claudite assassin was not one to cross. So, they're giving us another scoundrel, which is cool. I'm really down with scoundrels. I wish she didn't have a way to increase evasion, but she does have a way to decrease evasion from the other side, so that's good.
Yeah, okay. So, this is a character I thought about adding to this game, especially when we started to do the Wish Upon a Stars before they were called Wish Upon a Stars, when they were just called recrafting.
Things we want.
Exactly. And remember the first one we did where we thought, okay, let's think of a new character and add some abilities to them, and that would be kind of cool to put in the game. This was the very first one I thought of. Because simply the fact that she's a shapeshifter. That is the only shapeshifter that we know of in the movie of like the Star Wars universe, right? So I thought that would be so cool because she could like change to different people and like, I don't know, use their abilities. There's so much they could do with her. It's like endless, different, cool grabbing of different characters' abilities and unique whatever. But it doesn't seem like they're going to do that. It just seems like it's just a character that's called a shapeshifter, but
Just gets more evasion.
yeah.
Because they shifted shapes to
She
go
can
around
shift
your
out
lightsaber.
of the bullets and the sabers and stuff, right?
Matrix
It's
style.
kind of disappointing, honestly.
Well,
What?
I mean, let's not jump to that gun yet. I mean, we don't know that they're not going to do that. Let's focus on what they've really said that they're going to do, right? So the first thing we know is that they're going to do an evasion down. So Joe, what do you think of giving her an evasion down skill?
Well, I mean, now we've got Dengar, now we've got Zam Wessle. It's an interesting. I mean, B2 Battle Droid doing evasion down as well. It's obviously an interesting thing. It's a kind of backwards way of dealing with a problematic mechanic in the game, which I'm not all that impressed by. It's like, let's not deal with dodge. Let's just make a couple of characters that deal with it and make two of them pay to win.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
And we don't know what's happening with Dengar.
of
So
them are pay to win.
two of them are confirmed Chromium, well, Erodium and Chromium only. Who knows what will happen with B2 when he leaves Erodium? But I mean, Rex was Erodium, Wedge was Erodium, and they're all just Chromium only now. I mean, I don't actually. The bit that interests me most about Zam Wessle is not that. I mean, evasion down, whatever. Let's see how that kind of winds up dealing with things. I still don't think that a debuff is going to deal with the passive. I just still think that it's still imbalanced.
I thought about that too, and I really agree with you. And I think it is kind of, there was definitely two ways to approach it. You had to either directly address the passive of dodge, or you could address it through characters. And I don't think it's a good way to address it through characters. But if they're going to, at least they're showing that they're putting out characters on a regular basis that are going to address it. Whether or not we can access them or not is irrelevant, right? But if they continue to put out characters that will address it, at least at some point, we could see in the meta where people just include like, okay, this is my guy that I have to make sure that I can deal with dodge comps. And then maybe dodge comps will be curved a bit that way and just force people to play more of a mid-rangey kind of comp that we saw for a while when DACA was getting a little big and Royal Guard was just creeping up there and that type of stuff, you know?
Yeah. No, I think it you know, it's like we were saying in previous episodes, and is true across all games like this that change and evolve as the devs add and take things away. You know, just the fact that it exists changes the meta on its own.
Yeah.
You don't need to have 90% of your server using it. The fact that it's there at all will change the way people approach the game. But the thing I'm most interested about, Zam, is thermal detonators. Because
it seems like all scoundrels have thermal detonators.
And thermal detonators
they like them.
Currently suck really badly. Because it's an attack which can not only be dodged, it can also be resisted, and then once you even connected with the thing, it can be dispelled. So it's a really inefficient way of attacking. It has its tactical benefits, though, which I really like about thermal detonators, that it evades counters, that you can put it behind taunts and then let that guy... there's nothing more satisfying, us as JE players, rolling a little grenade onto Rey, and then...
Or Leia right before she stealths.
Right before she stealths, and then RG goes up, and then Rey just explodes behind RG. That's satisfying. But I still think they're going to have to address how these trigger and the way they interact with these weird mystical skills of like potency and tenacity that still no one's really quite got their finger on. Like, so we know that the higher
tenacity, you're going to evade every single primary attack. That seems a bit silly.
Yeah, you just run a Yoda lead and then no one can hit you.
Yeah.
You could wind up with like Poe leads coming in. Like, it could be that resistance leads are like the hard counter to Scoundrel team. It's going to be interesting. Like, I really don't know how it's going to pan out. And actually, I'm excited by it, not disappointed by it. I think this is going to make it more interesting. I don't know how you guys feel about those thermal detonators there.
But Greg, I was like, you were saying the evasion thing, like it's a strange, or Joe, you were saying too, like it's a strange way to deal with this chance dodge thing they have right now, right? It's just like a whole chance. But I don't know, it might be the way to go because, as we've seen in the meta, speed was the counter to basically Phasma. And then, the dodge chance lead was the counter to speed. And these were two different kind of things. So it was like an inherent speed, was like the inherent ability in a person.
It was always going to come out on top.
Right. And then dodge is just like, oh, we figured out that this chancefully happens, but more of the time than not. So maybe just adding abilities that are all to deal with this might be the way to go. However, then sorry, I'm almost done.
Yeah.
But after that's done, how are they going to deal with all these abilities when dodge is no longer an issue? It just kind of seems like.
I mean, I think speeds is just going to come back again because I think the one thing we're noticing about Dengar and other Scoundrel characters is the problem with Scoundrels is they're all slow.
Yeah.
That's their
Which
weakness.
is odd. They should be quick. Should be conniving.
They're pretty slow characters. So, once again, you start seeing all these Scoundrel teams with these funky abilities. You just outpace them with a Jedi team, or maybe, which we'll get to in a second, or like a droids team, and just it's still it's the hardest thing with this game, and Greg's talked about it tons, and is that when you can get a game to 4v5 on the first turn, it's pretty much lights out.
Yeah.
And that and Dodge kind of dealt with that. It's like, oh, I didn't get to 4v5 because of RNG.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was a very good way. We'll see anyway. That's
what I'm saying. I think we'll just see what happens, and
I think a lot of change is coming, and I think that's what's kind of fun about this. Like, we're trying to predict it, and actually, I'm at a kind of loss for predictions at this point.
Well, I like Danny's idea there, where you're saying it was definitely a dodge and speed were self-correcting each other. Which one was getting better and stuff, and then if you add evasion down, I guess what we're calling it, so to kind of counteract dodge, you definitely get like a trinity there, where we were talking about before, where it doesn't matter if everyone in the meta is running it, it's the fact that it exists, it can control the other factors, right?
Right.
And so if they can start balancing that, where the dodge teams are controlled by the evasion down teams, and the evasion down teams are controlled by the speed teams, and the speed
like a stone, paper, scissors
are controlled by the dodge thing. Yeah, then it'd be a bit more stone, paper, scissors. And I think we should go on to our more than a feeling topic now, because this is kind of in hands with it, and we'll do our wish upon a star afterwards.
Right.
But So, Joe, explain our more than feeling topic for today.
Well, I may have just touched on it a bit just then. I think changes are coming. Big change. The winds, they're turning.
Change come.
Yeah, big change is coming. The winds are turning. I just feel like there's going to be a real big mix-up in the meta coming up. I feel like this release of we've had a ton of really new, really interesting characters, all in one kind of glut. Throwing Leia out into the wild at the same time. I feel like this Dengar's going to mix things up. We got
hold on before you continue here. Let's flesh out what the more than a feeling actually is, because it's not just things are going to change. It's that things are going to change, and
well, the people that I was just getting to the point that all these characters are coming out, and the people who are going to have access to them are the paying players. And so, who's going to suffer the most when the change comes really quickly and rapidly? It's really going to kick the free-to-play players in the nuggets. You know what I mean? Potentially, we don't know this, but that's the kind of more than a feeling. Like we are all free-to-play players, and it's kind of scary to think that 6 to 7 really like game-changing characters and a couple of reworks, and all of a sudden, like 3 months of farming might kind of go out the window.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that could be the case too. Wow, those are good English words. But I like what we were talking about before too, of that trinity of different factors controlling each other. And so I think what you're really looking at there too, Joe, is that the breadth of your roster and really who you're able to have, like this guy counters this guy. Do you have this guy? If not, you probably can't beat this comp. It's like having Qui-Gon to counter St. Han right now. So if that continues that way, do you think the free-to-play players will be completely squished out of the higher parts of the meta and the arena ladders and doing well in raids?
I wouldn't go that far, but I would say there's going to be, it will benefit certain. It will benefit certain sectors of the people who free to play. I actually think the people that might suffer most might be people who are doing the kind of good stuff teams at the moment, where there is no synergy and there is no direction. It's just good stuff crammed behind when someone can just take away the evasion from your Ben team, and you're just running Rey and Leia and Royal Guard or stuff behind it, like. All of a sudden, what was just a compilation of good things behind a dodge lead or good things behind a Phasma might not be as viable anymore. And then what do you have but a bunch of like misfitting pieces of some like real synergy teams?
Yeah,
you should have invested in some synergy teams in the first place.
Yeah, I think the Rebel teams will still do well. I think the Jedi teams might make a comeback when we get into our next part. Jedi teams might be a thing that we see around a bit more.
I don't know, but I mean, sorry, Greg, that's just me spitting out my adoration of synergy. I think synergy is an important part of any game, and if you don't have it, then why bother?
In a game where you collect characters and build teams
and they have a class name.
Yeah. For 90% of the meta teams right now, to not actually utilize that at all, really,
There's really only one, right, in the meta with the Rebels with Akbar lead. Is there any other team that's actually using synergy
in the meta right now?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, those who do run droids and have managed to keep it.
Dude, my God.
I thought you were trying to ignore saying that word again.
Yeah, but I think the thing with droids, which is why you're not seeing it around so much, is it is a viable free to play team. But I think most of the people who are free to play didn't go that way.
Yeah,
they didn't want to just farm a bunch of droids, and I can understand why you wouldn't. You want characters you actually know the names of and give a damn about. Not a bunch of numbers on a team. Because the way that we play games is we looked at the stats and we just went, clearly this is the best way and most efficient way to spend our resources.
Because we're just that cool.
Well, we're just a bit nerdy for the stat side of things, but like when you play with your heart, you just want the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Look at Rey, she's smashing things to bits. Like, look at Ben, it's it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, like it's Qui-Gon, it's Leia. It's not like a bunch of robots all hanging out together and just slamming stuff.
But going back to our more than a feeling, it's I don't think the free-to-play players will really suffer. I think really what this means is what this phrase is saying is that if you're not at level 80, you might suffer. If you haven't built up your roster, you might suffer.
Mm-mm.
But those like whales who have all the good stuff, or quote unquote good stuff, I've played against a lot of them, and it doesn't really make a difference. You know what I mean? It's not like they have an advantage, but I think because of what we're all saying right now, there's no synergy among them.
Yeah, but you run a synergy team, so you get a benefit. You're beating teams with 5,000 more energy. We're not talking about you. We're talking about all the people that are running a more budget version.
Well,
of
don't do it. Don't do it, guys.
But they've been doing it for 3 months, and then
Captain Hindsight, Danny.
Yeah.
Why have you been following the meta for 3 months while you're trying to level your accounts, you idiots?
Yeah, why have you been getting all the good stuff that everyone's using, you dummies?
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, that's how these games go. I think really, if we boil it all down, like, it's just that farming characters in this game is way too slow.
Yeah. No,
so when the meta does change, it's like a 2 to 3 month process. It's insane.
And I can't imagine, too, if you're somebody that's at level 60 or even level 70 now, because the jump between 70 and 80 is huge, it takes forever, and then really encourages you, too, if you want to be doing okay in Arena and Galactic War while you're doing that, to really focus on a few characters, and then all of a sudden to say, like, these just aren't important anymore. You need synergy. Like, you have 1 out of 5. Like, when you can't enter those events, like 1 out of 5. The top 200 of Arena is inaccessible to you, or something like that,
Yeah, and when those events come on, the Empire event comes along, I had 4 out of 5, and 3 out of those 4 were like at 3-star, and I just went, well, screw it, I'm never doing this event. Yeah. It wasn't like next time it comes I'll be ready, or maybe even 2 times. It's like, no, I think I'll just never ever do this, thanks. Like it's going to take me 5 months. It's going to take me as long as I've been playing the game already.
Because you did the Yoda grind too.
I did the Yoda grind, and boy, was it not fun.
Yeah.
It took me 3 months of missing out on following the meta. I struggled, I struggled in Arena as a result. And of course, that should be the price you pay. You want to chase the events, you chase the events, you don't get to... But it's, if you have to, take a hit for 4 weeks, take a hit for 2 weeks, take a hit for, 2 months, you just kind of go, well, I'm even doing this.
But the only reason you do that for Yoda is because it's a full character.
Yeah.
And a full character and a bunch of crystals and a bunch of credits, there's actually rewards worth doing it. Whereas this
was
one
like
is just
millions upon millions of credits and a 7-star character. This was just cool, I got 25 Veers shards. And that's I mean, I guess we really, this more than a feeling is just really saying the meta's changing. It takes too long to farm things in this game.
Yeah, but I think it's changing a bit. And those new characters too, they could really put a wrench in the works really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we've beaten that topic dead. So let's do our wish upon and star and then wrap things up. So
this is
today,
a really negative episode.
I know. I was trying to stay so focused on being positive, but I do enjoy this game. I really like this game. Let's at the end of the episode we'll all say something nice about Mr. Star Wars.
Really likes your hair.
We'll do a little friendship circle. We'll go around. We'll say something. I like your beard, Danny.
All right, so wish upon a star. Anakin's getting a rework, and we were looking at what would make Anakin better. If it doesn't matter really how we wanted to approach it, but especially considering the current meta and everything that's going on, what would make Anakin better? So, Danny, you want to start this one off?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm glad he's getting a rework. We've kind of touched on this. He should be.
What was he, number 3 in characters that needed a little helping hand last week? Yeah,
exactly. Basically, that need a rework. But I think... Thanks, EA, for listening to us.
Get us on that thing.
Yeah.
I want to...
So I think currently Anakin doesn't struggle with health or synergy or cool abilities. Currently, he's kind of like in a good place. I think we touched on this already, but I don't remember because we had some juice. But perhaps his main ability is pretty underwhelming. Deals physical damage to a target enemy with a 40% chance to inflict healing and buff immunity for 2 turns. It's okay. It's nothing to write home about, you know?
Buff
He does
immunity?
it's cool, but like a 40% chance, and
Yeah,
I don't know.
percentage. Yeah.
yeah, he does a lot. He does lots of damage when he kills something, but he has to kill something, you know? It's not like Sid where he gets a buff for somebody else killing something or something like that. He has to do it. His current kit is too chance-based. That's what I'm thinking. And they need to just up his damage a lot. And rework his basic maybe, or actually just change his leader skill.
Yeah, his leader skill is something I've been looking at. Just going like, that is some bland, uninspiring leader skill. Just your Jedi's hit harder.
Yeah. I mean, that's all. I think that's
It
the
would be
rework.
nice
It's
to-
nice.
Because really now, if we're saying synergies are really going to come back into the meta or not come back in, join the meta, then it would be nice to have a different lead for Jedi's than just Qui-Gon. Although maybe, does that blue Jedi that I don't want to say the name of
Hela.
have a, what's her
Yeah, and I'm not sure of her leader, but I'm definitely been looking at Imagundi a little bit differently since the rework of
This is
Anakin.
the one that gives everyone counters?
He gives Jedi's counter, yeah.
Counterattack is good. I've
Oh,
heard.
Jedi allies gain tenacity is Ayala's.
Yeah. So the tenacity with all this buffs going around, who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
But
Actually, tenacity is quite important these days. I've
Yeah.
noticed. Yeah.
you can't land those stuns. It sucks.
So, Joe, what do you think? What would be yours?
Well, you kind of just touched on it a bit there. I would just like them to really lean on the synergy bit a little bit more. You know, I would like you to be rewarded for the more Jedis you have in your team. You know, kind of how the droids work. You know, all the droid synergies are great because it's like for every droid in your team, get X. You know, and they should do a similar thing with Jedis and a similar thing for everyone, if you ask me.
Yeah,
You know?
it really shows that works. How
Yeah.
droids are really one of the only synergies that work right now,
And
it
and
works
it
because
says
of that.
it's hard baked into it. It's like IG-86 does more damage the more droids you have in your team.
Yeah,
You know, HK-47
JE goes faster.
he goes faster the more droids you have on your team. And so yeah, like make Anakin like a, you know, he's this is Clone Wars Anakin that we're looking at. He's like leading the Jedi, you know, the Jedi sort of army at that stage, you know, like
Yeah,
the more Imagundis and Plo Kloons and the whoever's he's got behind him, like all the better. And yeah, just to touch on Imagundi, who I think might work really well with him, he has all allies gain 30%, not 30%, 30 defense and gain 35% counter chance, which I think could be really good if Jedi's can come back into the mix. But I think the big thing with Jedi's is they don't have a pre-baked taunt.
yeah, and yeah, their best healer is Barriss in my mind.
Lumi.
I don't know. Lumi's good, but
Yeah.
I like for people getting brought so low so fast now, I would prefer Barriss to be
Yeah.
better.
I don't know, man. I fought a few bears in top 3, and Barriss just stinks. She's a
yeah.
stinky girl in arena.
Yuck.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So my idea was I would just change his special. And okay. So obviously we've been talking in this episode that if they are going to fix dodge through player or character skills, then I want them to go all the way and give a bunch of characters the ability to change dodge and then control it in that sense. So I would make Anakin's special. He marks one target, making them unable to dodge for the next 2 turns, and it needs to be 2 because he's not going to do any damage with this special. But in return, the character that is marked is given a crit buff. So it's kind of a give and take sort of thing, which I haven't seen as much in the abilities in this game, and I really like that idea of just
That balance. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you're
Yeah,
gaining
the more
something, but you're all
powerful your
taking a
skill
risk.
is, the more powerful your skill is, the more chance you have of giving them something in return. It's quite a cool idea.
Yeah, and I think too though the problem with this special would be it's like not a very sexy special, and people that might get Anakin because they think Anakin's really cool and they're just getting into the game, they would be like, why would I care about that, you know? But for people that are really playing the game a lot and you know playing Arena a lot, it would be so huge. I would love that ability.
Mm-hmm. Like a hunter's mark kind of thing. You know?
But I mean,
exactly.
people who are starting the game, they already have their characters that they can farm to get up there. You know, like GS is the first guy you can farm super easily, and that's the guy that's going to take you to where you need to be. Then you can start farming these cool characters like that.
Well, you're not farming
idea of
Anakin any. He's the last Cantina node in the game, so you're not going to be farming him
Exactly.
very quickly unless you are at top level anyway. So
I haven't even done those. They're
No, I
they're
stopped
so
at RG.
difficult. Yeah.
RG's my last one too.
That's it.
I started doing them. I've decided to work on Anakin because I just feel like this rework. You know, think about people that they've reworked. I would say mostly they've wound up becoming extremely important. Apart with the exception of maybe Ahsoka
Ahsoka, yeah.
and maybe IG1.
Got a rework, right?
Yeah, Qui-Gon got a rework. Ben got a rework. Dooku got a rework. Well, they just fixed Dodge. Fixed.
Yeah. Fixed in the bad way. In the
I feel like they
okay.
just went up to a little bar thing that said dodge, and they just went like, whoop, boop, 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 boop. And they're like, yeah, we fixed it. Doesn't matter.
This one goes to 11. And but yeah, we'll see. It's going to be really fun. Like this, I feel like this whole episode's had a weird kind of vibe to it because we really don't know.
Yeah.
It's a
And
bit kind of.
Well, it was kind of hush-hush the whole update, and it's just like, here's what's happening, but we're not going to really give you that much information about it. So we don't really have much to go on there.
That and it drops in about an hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're getting in right before the punch. So you can all laugh at us in the comments
When we're totally
wrong about
wrong.
everything.
Yeah.
We're putting it all out all out there.
oh damn,
Nope,
I'm
no
not gonna
regret.
get this up until tomorrow too. So it could be really wrong.
Oh god.
That's
All right,
Sorry,
guys. Well, thanks a lot for sticking with us through this episode. We tried to make it a little bit shorter than our last ones. Hopefully, we're going to get some new guests on soon because now we haven't had a guest on for a couple episodes. Normally, we'd say with our Wish Upon a Star, what do you think about that? But really, I want to know what people think is going to be the next thing with the meta. Do you think we're totally wrong when it comes to synergies? Because, I mean, there is a chance, right? It seemed like synergies might be good before, but they really weren't, and people were just pick and choosing your favorite flavor and throwing that all together. But what do you think is going to be the good thing next? Let us know, and this is Ritual Gaming, Greg, Danny, and Joe, and we will catch you for episode 16. Thanks.